Bradley, Manchester United 0, Newcastle United 3. That's 6 goals in the last 2 games. 2 easy 3-0 slappings. I watched the game with yourself. Bro, what do you say? What do you say?
I'm lost for words, to be honest. There's no point even being angry at this point because we're just awful. And it was almost like we just had to be accepting of it today. And I think Ten Hag's completely lost the dressing room. And I hate to say it because I had high hopes for him, but what I'm seeing is the players don't even want to run or jog or anything. They're just walking. It's like pedestrian.
Is it that for you? Like they've given up. They've down tools. He's lost the dressing room. He can't turn that round.
Like in moments last season, like you saw the players fist bumping to get the fans up. They're not even doing that. I think the only player that did do that was Hannibal, and he's a young kid coming through. So that's just embarrassing for the senior players.
It was absolutely shocking, and we looked at that Newcastle team before, and you said, if Man United don't have a good performance against a much changed Newcastle team, they got to rotate loads. We made a lot of changes as well, but something's wrong. But also the manner of that defeat was absolutely shocking.
Schoolboy errors today, and it was their B team today. It wasn't even their first team. What are we going to do when we go to St James's Park when they play their first team, Premier League? We've got Anfield coming up. We've got Copenhagen coming up next. It's just looking like it's going to go from bad to worse. And it's
almost like you try and find the bits of positivity. You try and see if we're improving and try and put a marker down and say, okay, well maybe we are going in the right directions at sometimes. Then you end up back here at square one. There's a cycle just keeps going on and on and on.
Do you know what? If we do end up getting a new manager with the Jim Ratcliffe thing, we need to hire the director of footballing first, and then he can pick the manager. So then the whole streamline of the football club is on the same page, because it just looks disjointed and it looks like strangers. It's like they've never spoken to each other before. Do
you think we will end up with a new manager? Like, do you think Ten Hag can stem? It's almost like there's a big wound, isn't there? There's a big bleed, and it's just pouring out right now. Can he stem the bleed? Can he start getting some results, or do you think this is the beginning of the end?
I think it's the beginning of the end, and now I can actually understand why Sancho hasn't apologised.
Why do you think?
Because I think if all the players were on Ten Hag's side, I think Sancho might feel the pressure to apologise because he's thrown himself under the bus. But actually, I think because it looks like the players have lost all faith in him, he lost the dressing room. Actually, Sancho's like, maybe Ten Hag's going to go before I can go. I'm like, I don't want it to be like that, but that's how I see it.
Do you still believe in Ten Hag? Honestly, as I talk to you now, and I know it's hard, right? Do you still believe in him?
Not really.
You don't?
I think he's sacking himself. I think he's making poor errors. Like Mason Mount was terrible today. Anthony, he does these stupid spins and rolls, and it doesn't do anything. It just slows down the game.
And it was one of them today, isn't it? Like, normally when there's a bad performance, you might say, there was a couple that were bad, and you home in on maybe 1 or 2 who were particularly bad. Today, it was literally from front to back. I mean, okay, Onana couldn't do anything about the goals that went in, apart from him. All across the pitch, littered with mistakes, littered with players not running, littered with no accountability. I think you said it before, someone else said it round me. Newcastle didn't even need to be great to beat us today. Nobody ever needs to be great to beat Man United.
Yeah, I said they couldn't get out of first. They didn't need to get out of first gear. Like some of the errors today, it looked like the passes were just half-hearted. Like it was almost like they weren't even keeping care of what they were trying to do. So, and these players have to take a lot of accountability as well, because their professional pride's on the line.
It's the same thing all the time with the players, isn't it? How are you feeling about the players? Because every time a new manager comes in, get a little bit of a reaction, and the same thing happens. The next manager comes, get a reaction, the same thing happens. Yes, we know about the Glazers. Yes, we know about the ownership. Yes, we know about the lack of sporting director. All of these things. But like you just said, them players.
They like to down tools when it's not going their way. When it's going their way, it'll be all right. But when it's not going their way, they're babies. Like Roy Keane would say, they're babies, and they're just down tools. They threw Jose Mourinho under the bus. They threw Ralph Rangnick under the bus. They threw Ole Gunnar Solskjaer under the bus, and they're probably going to throw this manager under the bus. And to be honest, the players that have been here for the whole regime of them 4 years, they need to go. Including like Bruno Rashford didn't start today, and I know they're like favourite players in the fan base, but I'd rather just restart and just reset the whole ship.
That's what we thought we were doing with Ten Hag the first time. He's bought sort of 6, 7, 8 players, and it looks like it doesn't matter who comes in, even new players coming in. Mount not doing anything, looks a shell of himself. Obviously the Anthony situation, okay, Martinez is out injured. Varane, something's bubbling on there, I'm pretty sure of it. Reguilon, obviously emergency loan, not really up to it. Like Højlund, not really getting any service, can hardly score a goal. Like everyone just comes at Amrabat, getting hooked off. Sometimes he's in, sometimes out. Casemiro at the minute. Obviously I know he's just come back from injury, but nobody's at it. Nobody.
Like, do you know? But we must be one of the only clubs in the Premier League that don't have a director of football though. Who's our director of football? Because all we know that Ten Hag signing these players, and that's what I'm saying. The streamline of the whole football club is all wrong. If you use like Arsenal as an example, they got Josh Kroenke, Edu, Arteta. What do we have? We have Joe Glazer pumping in a lot of cash.
Well, not actually pumping it in, but
through the revenue that we earn. It's fragmented in the middle, and then Ten Hag has to take over the crap.
And then on top of taking over the crap, his tactics, his decisions, his inspiration for these players isn't as good as it needs to be as well.
Like we spent 1.2 billion over the last 10 years. You may as well have chucked that 1.2 billion on a bonfire. It'd have had more use, because we can spend money, but if there's no structure, there's no elite level recruitment team, there's no point.
It's looking like this is going to be the start of like a bad run, doesn't it?
Downward spiral, to be honest. That's how I can only describe it.
Downhill spiral, yeah. You can't plug it, can't see any gap. You can't see Fulham 12:30 Saturday, Copenhagen.
They'll be licking the lips going into that game. That they know if they make an atmosphere, our place can crumble. I honestly, I know we should be beating Fulham and they're struggling, but I think the best result we can get is a draw.
How damning is that of us, of how bad we are? That's where we feel like there's nowhere to turn, nowhere to look, nowhere to hide. This has been happening.
Everton are more competent than us, and they went to Anfield, right, and they got beat 2-0, but they did more with 10 men at Anfield than we've done today against Newcastle's B team with 11 men, and we had a strong enough team to beat Newcastle. There's no excuses.
That's on, Brad.